Go on, everybody. We're gonna learn how to cook a pizza. Okay, we're gonna learn how to cook a pizza on the pizza oven. Give me a minute, guys. I will be cooking a pizza soon. In the pizza oven. Okay, I'm just opening the apple. I'm just getting the apples open. Okay, you want to make sure you slide that in there. And set the plug it in first. Okay. Then set a timer. Make sure you keep your stuff far away. And let's talk about our day. My day is doing good. Okay, let's show this commercial break until we come out with more questions. This is Kyle Smith. Okay? KYLESMITH. Please enjoy this commercial until we come back with more questions. Hey Google, what's the weather outside? Oops, I unplugged it. Oh no. Hold on. There you go, it's loading. There it comes, it's coming back. Just gotta give it a minute, it's loading. Okay. Give it another minute. It's loading. Give it another minute. There it goes. Okay? Hey Google. Hey Google. What's the weather outside?
Right now in Spring Township it's 32 degrees and partly cloudy. Today, it'll be mostly cloudy, with a forecasted high of 33 and a low of 20. Due to current wind conditions, it feels like it's 25.
Hey Google. What's tomorrow weather's gonna be?
It'll be mostly cloudy there tomorrow, with a high of 38 and a low of 35.
Hey Google, what's Monday weather gonna be?
It'll be mostly sunny there Monday, with a high of 39 and a low of 27.
Hey Google, good morning.
Hi there, it's 3:47 p.m. Currently in Bellefonte it's 32 degrees and partly cloudy. Today, it'll be mostly cloudy, with a forecasted high of 33 and a low of 20. Due to current wind conditions, it feels like it's 25. Have a wonderful day. Here's the latest news.
Give it a minute, it's loading. Give it another minute, it's loading.
From Reuters TV, US, at 1:17 p.m. today.
Here are your top stories, brought to you by Fidelity Wealth Management.
The yeas are 300.
The House pushes back on Trump's veto.
Stocks on Wall Street rally to record levels as investors cheer a COVID aid bill.
This is Reuters Now.
Give it another minute.
U.S. President Donald Trump is facing his first potential veto override weeks before leaving office. The U.S. House of Representatives on Monday voted to reject the president's veto on a $740 billion defense bill. The measure easily got the two-thirds majority needed to pass. Texas Representative Mac Thornberry from Trump's own Republican Party rallied for GOP support ahead of the vote.
Madam Speaker, I continue to support this bill, as more than 80% of the House did, just 20 days ago. It's the exact same bill. Not a comma has changed.
The yearly legislation covers a host of defense issues, including a pay raise for U.S. troops. It's been passed by Congress every year since 1961, but Trump vetoed the bill last week, laying out a list of objections, including a provision to remove the names of Confederate generals from military bases. The measure now goes to the Republican-led Senate, where it's expected to pass and mark the first overturn of a Trump veto in the final days of his term. But the president found support in the House on another spending bill. Lawmakers voted to meet the president's demand to boost COVID-19 relief checks to $2,000. Trump signed a massive spending and relief bill Sunday, but complained about the $600 earmarked for relief payments, asking for more. Although the measure passed in the House, it faces an uncertain future when it goes to the Senate later this week. Republican lawmakers have complained the higher amount would add hundreds of billions of dollars to the bill.
President-elect Joe Biden blasted the Trump administration on Monday, accusing it of obstructing his transition team and weakening national security. In a speech from Wilmington, Delaware, Biden said many of America's security agencies had been hollowed out under President Donald Trump. Earlier this month, Biden's team said they had met resistance to their requests for information from some Pentagon officials, concerns he reiterated on Monday. The Pentagon pushed back against the Biden team's earlier complaints. A senior defense official last week said that the Pentagon had conducted 163 interviews and 181 requests for information, and that it would continue to provide information and meetings. Trump has refused to concede defeat, and his administration only authorized cooperation weeks after Biden won. Biden will be sworn into office on January 20th.
Stocks on Wall Street rose to new heights on Monday after President Donald Trump, in a sudden reversal, backed down from his threat to block the COVID aid bill.
I'm asking Congress to amend this bill
And signed it, restoring unemployment benefits to millions of Americans and averting a federal government shutdown. All three major Wall Street indexes closed at record levels. Hillary Kramer of Kramer Capital Research says the rally is broad.
It was very well received, that stimulus package from the market, because we're seeing intraday highs on all of the major indexes. And when I look at the stocks that are moving today and we look at the 52-week highs, there's so much breadth in the market. It's not in any way just focused on technology and cloud-based companies. We have TJ Maxx, we have Ferrari Race hitting 52-week highs, Deere, and when I see that Goldman Sachs GS, it shows that there's real buying going on.
Even stocks battered by the coronavirus lockdown, such as airlines and cruise lines, moved higher. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian Cruise all rose by at least 3%. And airline stocks such as American gained as carriers are set to receive $15 billion in additional payroll assistance under the new government aid. Tesla jumped after a report said the electric car maker will start operations in India early next year, while Lockheed Martin also edged up after the company said it delivered 123 F-35 jets in 2020, near the top end of its revised outlook.
Those were your top stories for today, brought to you by Fidelity Wealth Management.
From CNN News Briefing at 5:38 a.m. today.
Give it a minute. Here it comes.
Good morning. This is your CNN News Briefing for Tuesday, December 29th. The House of Representatives has voted to override President Donald Trump's veto of the sweeping defense bill known as the National Defense Authorization Act. The $740 billion defense bill provides funding for military programs and construction projects, but was vetoed by Mr. Trump in part because it did not repeal legal protections for social media companies. The bill will next head to the Senate, which will need a 2/3 majority to override the president's veto. The House also passed a measure to increase stimulus checks for Americans whose income is under a certain level, from $600 to $2,000. The vote follows President Trump's complaints that the relief legislation he signed on Sunday didn't provide enough in individual disbursements. It is unclear if the higher checks will pass the Republican-controlled Senate, but the issue could further divide President Trump and Republicans ahead of the crucial Senate runoffs in Georgia next week. President-elect Joe Biden is criticizing how some agencies in the Trump administration are dealing with his transition team. Mr. Biden says his team has encountered roadblocks and that he's not getting certain information from key agencies like the Defense Department and the Office of Management and Budget. The Defense Department has defended the Pentagon's transition work. The number of COVID-19 patients in U.S. hospitals hit another record high on Monday, with more than 121,000 people hospitalized. Last week, more Americans were admitted to hospitals than in any previous week, and for 27 straight days, the U.S. has had more than 100,000 people in the hospital for coronavirus. Today, owners of some buildings near the site of the bombing in Nashville will be allowed to inspect their properties for the first time since the Christmas Day blast. It could be several more days before anyone can enter buildings that were closest to the explosion. The blast injured at least 8 people and damaged more than 40 buildings, including an AT&T transmission facility that provides wireless service to much of the region. That's all for your CNN Morning News Briefing. For more on these stories and the latest news, you can always visit CNN.com.
Give it a minute.
From CNBC Tech Check at 1:24 p.m. yesterday.
Give it another.
Hey, I'm Deirdre Boza, and here's your CNBC Tech Check. Wonder Woman 1984 making just under $17 million in its domestic box office opening. While that dollar amount is historically low, it is the highest box office opening since the pandemic began. The film is the first Hollywood blockbuster to be released in theaters and via streaming on the same day. AT&T said that nearly half of HBO Max's retail subscribers viewed Wonder Woman 1984 on its premiere day alongside millions of wholesale subscribers. Bitcoin is on track for its longest monthly winning streak in more than a year. The cryptocurrency reached an all-time high of over $28,000 on Sunday before pairing some of the gains. So far this year, Bitcoin prices have soared about 280%, and a CNBC quarterly stock report found investors are more likely to buy Bitcoin for the first time ever next year compared to a SPAC or an options contract. And a top Apple analyst is pouring cold water on latest reports about an Apple-made self-driving car. Last week, a report by Reuters sent shares of companies that build parts for autonomous cars like LiDAR sensors soaring. But top Apple watcher Ming-Chi Kuo warned it's too early for anyone to know who's Apple's suppliers for the car parts might be, and he wouldn't be surprised if the Apple car doesn't launch until 2028. That's all from the West Coast for now. See you back here tomorrow.
From Bloomberg First Word at 12:33 p.m. today.
The House is now daring the Senate to follow in its footsteps on stimulus payments to most Americans. Democrats and some Republicans approved a measure that would replace the $600 payments in the new virus relief bill with $2,000 checks. It's a proposal that's backed by President Trump. Many Senate Republicans, though, previously opposed payments larger than $600. More than 4.6 million people in 16 countries have received the COVID-19 vaccine. That's according to data collected by Bloomberg. 2 doses are required weeks apart. The U.S. has administered the most doses, more than 2.1 million. But Dr. Anthony Fauci tells CNN that the U.S. is lagging with its vaccine rate and that officials had hoped to have more people vaccinated by the end of December. And French fashion designer Pierre Cardin has died. Cardin was a visionary who dressed both the famous and the masses. He wasn't just about clothes. Cardin also stuck his brand on a wide range of products, everything from bath towels to fragrances. His career lasted more than 3/4 of a century. Pierre Cardin was 98 years old. Global News 24 hours a day on air and on Bloomberg Quick Take, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts in more than 120 countries. I'm Ritika Gupta. This is Bloomberg.
From DW News Brief at 1 p.m. today.
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. A powerful earthquake has struck central Croatia, causing serious damage in several cities, including the capital Zagreb. Officials say at least one person has been killed, a young girl, and many others injured. The army has been sent in to help search for survivors. Neighboring Slovenia temporarily shut down a nuclear power plant as a precaution. Bangladesh has moved a second group of Rohingya Muslim refugees to an isolated offshore island. Human rights activists say the compound is vulnerable to floods and unfit for human habitation. They also say some refugees have been forced to relocate from mainland camps. The United Nations has called on Bangladesh to ensure that all transfers are voluntary. Legendary French fashion designer Pierre Cardin has died at the age of 98. He revolutionized the industry in the 1950s with his innovative futuristic looks. He also built a fortune licensing his name worldwide during a career that spanned 70 years. This is DW News from Berlin. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at DW News or visit our website, dw.com.
That's all for now.
Okay, everybody, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. I just finished a whole bunch pizza and I already cut it and showed you. Thank you, and please leave me a comment below the screen and know everything that they said. Okay, I didn't mean the little girl to die over the hurricane. I didn't know about that. Now you do. That's sad. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye.